All right. Welcome to another week of Cinema Unchained. Today we're going to be reviewing A Quiet Place Part 2 at the end of the show, as well as giving our thoughts on two new trailers and the merging of two major media companies. But before we get into the new trailer for Marvel's The Eternals, don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to get all notifications whether you're on Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, the Podcast Index, or YouTube. Follow our social media profiles listed in the description as well. Now, before we dive into Amazon's deal with MGM, the official trailer for the Marvel Cinematic Universe's The Eternals was released this past Monday. Of course, the same day we released last week's episode, because why not? But I figure, you know what? We have to at least talk about it. It'd be a sin if we didn't talk about it today. Now, for those of you who don't know, and I'm going to be honest, I barely know because, again, I don't read comics. The Eternals is a team of immortal beings that watches over human society and has impacted the course of its civilization. Darius, you're the designated Marvel comic fan here. How do you think this one looks so far?
Honestly, I'm very intrigued, mainly because when I first saw this trailer, I was like, this is a Marvel movie? If they didn't slap on a Marvel Studios logo, I would not have thought this was a Marvel movie.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that is good. Because I'm really liking that now they're taking more creative liberties as far as how their films are going to look and feel, the cinematography. And I think Eternals really just shows how different this is going to look and feel compared to the other Marvel movies. Because I'm going to be frank, for me personally, I am a Marvel fan, I love Marvel Studios, some of their movies, if not most of them, have been looking and feeling the same.
Yep,
absolutely. And that has been one of the negatives for their films. So I'm happy to see Eternals taking quite a big change as far as the look and feel of it. And so I'm very intrigued. I'm not really as excited as I hoped I was, but I am intrigued to see how this is going to play out and really the overall narrative of the MCU, considering the description is saying they've been watching over humanity for years, and you kind of wonder, okay, for years, all this stuff happens, where have they really been, what have they been doing, that sort of thing. It's going to feel like almost the Captain Marvel of this next phase, where it's like, you've been around for a while, but so it's like there's gonna be a lot more explanations. So I'm curious, to say the least.
Yeah, honestly, I'm in a very similar boat as you. Again, this is really only a teaser. It didn't really give you as much of the storyline as whereas just like it really gave you a feel for the film. And building on what you said as far as like the visual aesthetics for this particular film in comparison to other Marvel films, I agree with you 1,000%. A lot of them look, not that any of them really look bad, but a lot of them really look the same, and it all looks a bit too much like it came out of one studio. Of course, they did all come out of one studio, but again, it doesn't really hide that fact so much. Meanwhile, all these films, like, you know, by and large, they have different directors working on them. And I love how in this one you have director Chloe Zhao. This is the same director as Nomadland. And I'm watching the trailer, especially in those first couple of shots. This film, based on what we've seen in the trailer, has a lot of aesthetic similarities to Nomadland. So I thought that was very interesting, and I think it shows what bringing in a different director and just allowing that particular director to do their own thing can really do for a film, no matter how many other films are in like the same series or franchise. And I think back to like the Harry Potter films. I think there are about four different directors that did 8 of those movies, and all those directors like kind of brought their own thing, even though it was all in the same franchise. But another thing that this movie I think really has going for it so far, again, of course, it's only a trailer. This has a promising cast, to say the least. You got Angelina Jolie, Salma Hayek, Kit Harington from Game of Thrones, Brian Tyree Henry, and Kumail Nanjiani. You also have Richard Madden. For those of you who don't know, he was the asshole manager from the movie Rocket Man, the fantastical musical life story of Elton John. Phenomenal movie. You should definitely check it out. That guy's in this too. And it took me a while to realize that that's not Sebastian Stan. Because let's be real, they look almost identical. I'm like, is Bucky Barnes?
Yeah,
is the Winter Soldier an Eternal? I got really confused, but no, it's just Richard Madden. So overall, I'm pretty pumped. Actually, I don't know if I'd say I'm pumped, but like we were both saying before, I'm intrigued. Like I feel confident based on what we've seen so far and the pedigree that this film has going for it. But again, I want to know a bit more about the story and see exactly where that goes.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things I really like about Eternals, and I'm going to be honest and frank, I don't know a lot about them in the comics. They haven't been like the main primary thing I read upon or anything. I am
Damn, I was
familiar
banking
with
on you
them.
knowing more.
I am, but I am curious to see if they do this, how they tie it into Thanos' origin as well, considering Thanos' origin in the Eternals do have some history in the comics. So I wonder if they're going to touch upon that at all. But like you said, I'm intrigued to say the least. I'm curious. And I really hope this is a hit. For some reason, I've been seeing a lot of people online saying this might be a bomb.
I don't think that. I don't think it'll be a bomb.
It better not be Inhumans, because that was a bomb. but I'm intrigued. I'm thoroughly interested to see where this goes. And the fact that they have two actors from Game of Thrones, I'm in. Let's go.
Kit Harington. Who else?
It was the Gemma Chan, the love interest.
Gotcha.
She was in
Okay,
Game
yeah,
of Thrones
I
as
forgot
Robb
to mention
Stark.
her.
Yep. The brothers. So I'm excited, to say at least.
All right. Yeah, no, again, this movie is scheduled to come out November 5th of this year. There's another movie, of course, that got bumped around a lot because of COVID. You know, Marvel has been shifting its schedule around a lot. So we'll see what happens as far as this one. And to all of our listeners, all 10 or 15 of you, if you're still here with us, what do you, just curious, what do you all think of the Eternals? Did this teaser give you enough to actually get excited for the film? Leave your thoughts in the comment section wherever you can. Now, moving forward,